Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where obviously I'm still on my laptop today, so excuse any slight glitches there may be in the audio or the visuals. It may not be quite what you're used to, but I hope that it will still work. And, you know, I am on my holiday, obviously, at the moment, but I sort of... On days like this, I realise I must have the best job in the world, because on my holiday, I'm going to get to solve a Jay Dyer puzzle, having yesterday done a codec puzzle. This puzzle today is called X-Clusivity. And Jay, of course, is one of the most fantastic setters in the whole world. So this feels... this feels like a great pleasure. How could this possibly be work? And I'll read you the rules in just a moment. It's a rule set that reminds me of a puzzle I've done before, or maybe even two puzzles I've done before by Zeta because all of the grey lines in the grid are tensum lines. Although this one seems to have an additional constraint, which is that we can't have the same permutation of digits on 10 lines within the puzzle. So I don't think I've seen that rule set exactly before, but this has got something like a 98% approval rating on Logic Masters Germany, although a little bit daunting, 4 stars out of 5, so it's probably not desperately straightforward. We'll see whether my holiday brain can cope with it. Now, because I've been on holiday, I have fallen behind with birthdays, but I'm going to put that right slowly and steadily over the next few days. So let me start today by wishing Dimitri a very happy 31st birthday. I think your birthday was about, 9th of August, maybe, Dimitri. I'm sorry that I didn't read it out then. Your wife, Victoria, wrote to us and said that you really enjoy the channel. So thank you for watching, and we hope you had a great birthday with chocolate cake, of course. Next, Micro Study. Back there on the 8th of August, it was your birthday. Micro Study is a constructor we have featured on the channel before. I know it was your birthday because Riff Clown, another great constructor and great sort of doyen of the Sudoku community, wrote to us and told us. Next, Rachel, you turned 18. And I know this because your boyfriend Felix wrote to us. You turned 18 back on the 8th of August, and apparently I know that you had chocolate cake on that day. You were fully intending to have chocolate cake at least. So, Rachel, I hope you had a great birthday. Next, back on the 6th of August, Sakura over there in Germany turned 9 years old. And I know that you had an amazing cake because your mother, Ines, told us that basically you were having chocolate fudge cake with marshmallows. But I also know that the night before your birthday, your guinea pig, Macchiato, sadly passed away at a ripe old age, though, 8.5. I thought guinea pigs were only meant to last about 3 years. Is 8.5? Can that possibly be true? But anyway, Sakura, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it didn't ruin your birthday, and I hope you did enjoy that chocolate cake. Actually, that message came from your mum, Ines, Neil, and Lily. And then finally, Abel. Abel, you turned 30 on August the 7th over there in Texas. But you didn't ask for a shout-out for yourself. You asked for a shout-out for your wife, Sydney, who is, mid-pregnancy at the moment. And I know that there have been some issues, so I hope everything is okay. And that when the new baby arrives, you will send us a picture and we will be able to celebrate with you. So Abel, many happy returns, 30 years old, back on August the 7th. And that's the birthdays, so that's some of the birthdays. I know lots of you have written during the time I've been on holiday, and we will try and catch up in due course. Anything else to mention? We're closing in on the closing date for Tennis Anyone. We've had an absolutely astonishing response to our Sudoku hunt. This is our Sudoku hunt for August over on Patreon. The feedback's been absolutely grand, so we've been delighted to read that. And we'll be announcing the winners shortly after the 20th. And apart from that, anything else to say? I don't think so. Let's have a look at X-Clusivity and see what Jay Dyer has in store for us. These are the rules. We've got normal Sudoku, rules apply. Each line consists of one or more non-overlapping groups of consecutive cells, each of which sums to 10. Now, okay, how are we going to delineate this then? So let's have a look. Should we have a look at the long line? Maybe if I use the pen tool, is that going to work? Yeah, hang on. So what we could, oh no, I could use colouring. I can use colouring. So imagine that those two cells add up to 10. Then there would have to be some sequence after that of contiguous cells that also adds to 10. Let's make it those 3, and then those 4 could add to 10. And as I'm doing this, I'm seeing you could have many repeated digits along this line. So it's going to be very difficult to work out, I think, how the line gets split up. But what I've sort of conjectured there is that each colour contains digits that add up to 10. Group of consecutive cells, each of, yeah, and then no 2 of these groups. Now this is the odd rule. No 2 of these groups may have the same fill, including permutations, even if they are on different lines. So, for example, if one line had a group with the digits 1, 3, 1, 5. Now I can do this. Even my holiday brain can compute that 1 plus 3 plus 1 plus 5 is 10. And another line had a group with the digits 5, 1, 1, 3, this would be invalid because 5, 1, 1, 3 is essentially the same digits as 1, 3, 1, 5. They both do add up to 10, but in this puzzle what we're being told is that each individual group within the whole puzzle is unique, basically. So if this was 1, 2, 7, this couldn't be 1, 2, 7, and neither could that couldn't be 1, 2, 7. So we have to make sure each sort of collection of digits we're using to make a 10 sum is completely and utterly unique, and they are the rules. I realise that my glasses are covered in salt. I've been on the beach this morning. I will just clean them before we do. Let's get cracking. I'm sorry, I'm ill prepared, aren't I? And I'm on my new laptop, which so far I've been really pleased with, actually. So I hope it works. It's been, it was really quite remarkable. The old one broke, and then about within 18 hours, I had a new laptop and basically all of the software uploaded to it that I'd had on the old laptop. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, right. Ooh, I'm on a funny bench as well. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video, as usual, in the video description. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, okay, pregnant pause while I just give this some thought. So, right, how are we going to do this? So, I don't know is the short answer. What I'm seeing straight away is that there are loads of ambiguities. So this line here, that consists of 4 digits. So that's either going to be 2 digits with, say, a 1-9 pair and then a 2-8 pair, something like that. So we could have those two summing to 10 and these 2 summing to 10. Or it could be these 4 summing to 10 and being a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. But what it can't be is 3 and 1, because we can't put 10 into an individual cell. So this line has 2 possibilities in terms of its actual, how it's going to break down. Now, this is a 5-cell sequence. Yeah, okay, so the minimum number of cells we need to make digits that add up to 10 is 2 cells. So this must be a 3-cell and a 2-cell sequence, but we don't know the order. This can't be a 4-cell and a 1-cell. This is the same. This is effectively the same as this, I think. That's got to either split into 2 groups or it's one group of 4. This one is effectively the same as this one, I think. So this must break down into a 2 and a 3. Right, so this breaks down into a 2 and a 3. This breaks down into a 2 and a 3. Now, okay, so it feels like we're running out of 2s to me, but by which I mean, if we think about the ways that we can make 10 in 2 digits, there's 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, and 4, 6. So there's only 4 ways. So we know that one of those ways is used up there. We don't actually, do we? We know one of the ways is used up there, so that's 2 ways. Right, okay, so actually what we're being told here is that one of these 4-cell sequences is 1, 2, 3, 4. Because they can't both be 2-cell sequences, because that would imply there were 6 different ways in this puzzle of making 2 digits add up to 10, and that's not going to work. So exactly one of these breaks down into 2 and 2, and the other one is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that uses up the ways. No, it doesn't. No, hang on, I've missed something here. All right, I've missed something, but it doesn't matter, although it might matter for this. Right, I said there were 4 ways of making digits add up to 10 using 2 different numbers. That is sort of true, except that could be, that could be double 5, couldn't it? And in fact, that could be double 5. And that would be a legitimate way of making 2 consecutive cells add up to 10. But a quick recce, a quick audit of these 4 lines, you can't put double 5 on any of those. So I think the logic that we deduced is still valid. One of these is 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other is two different ways, like a 1, 9 and a 4, 6 or something, of making 2 cells add up to 9. 2 cells add up to 10. What am I talking about? Okay, so this line I think is going to be the important one then. I haven't given any thought to the long line yet, because it just seems to me to be impervious. The long line makes me shudder to think about. I'm going to try the short lines first. So this sort of staple-shaped line, that it can only have 1 2-cell sequence on it, because all the other sequences have definitely been used up. So it could have. So if it's got double 5 on it, in fact, must it have double 5 on it? Is that the point? If these 3 cells must add up to at least... Oh, no. Right. Okay, so this staple shape, weirdly, could be a 5-cell sequence. Let me show you how. I haven't quite done the maths on this, but let's say they were... Yeah, I mean, it's actually quite easy, isn't it? If that was double 1, then these 3 squares have got to add up to 8, which they could, I think, do in a variety of ways. So that adds up to 10 as a whole line. Right, so we don't know whether this has got double 5 on it. It's either got double 5 on it, the staple, and 3 different numbers that add up to 10, or it's a 5-cell sequence that adds up to 10. Which of those do I think is going to be more likely? I was thinking it's going to be a 5-cell sequence, but suddenly the appeal of double 5 feels appealing from a constructor's point of view, because it's sort of one you don't think of. Indeed, I didn't think of it as we were starting to do the puzzle. Right. So this hasn't really helped us, has it? We are going to have to think about the long line, I think. Right. Okay. So I actually know where the break is on the bottom left-hand side of the grid, I think. Because these 4 digits are all different, so they add up to at least 10. I know that all 4 of those digits can't add up to 10, because one of these lines adds up to 10 with 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I've got to have an earlier split than those 4, but I can't have a 2-cell split because the only 2-cell split that we've not used and accounted for is double 5. So there must be a 3-cell split. So those 3 are the same. Well, these 3, let me, let's do that. Those 3 add up to 10. Now we can't do double 5 there either, but we could do another 3-cell sequence or possibly a 4-cell sequence. Don't know whether we can really do it. No, maybe we can do a 5-cell. Maybe we can even do a 6-cell. No, hang on. Oh, that's absolutely ridiculous if we can do that. Okay, it might. I'm not sure, but at first blush, can we do a 6-cell sequence? I'm thinking if these 3 digits were 1, 2, 3, and we did something like that, these would add up to 4, these would add up to 6, that would be a 3, this would be a 1, 2 pair, and that would work. That's so ridiculous. Okay, this is why this line is terrifying. This middle, this massive line here is terrifying. Because I think literally this sequence here could be 3, 4, 5, or 6 long. What about from the other side? Do we have to have a 3-cell sequence again? We can't have a 4-cell sequence. These 4 digits are all different, aren't they? So they're adding up to at least 10. So we have to put a break in somewhere early on this line. It can't get down to there because it would have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's going to match with either this one or this one. And we can't have a 2-cell sequence, so this is a 3-cell sequence. So we're actually using up 3-cell sequences here. It's a little bit hard to see. Maybe I should colour this one in. So maybe we'll have the same, maybe we'll use the same colour for 3-cell sequences wherever we find them. Now what do we know? We know one of these is double 2 in terms of its split. We've got, how many ways are there of making 10 in a 3-cell sequence? We could have 1, 2, 7, 1, 3, 6, 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, 5. That might be all the ways you can do it if you don't repeat a digit, which you can't repeat a digit. Ah, right, I see. Right, okay, so I'm just going to double check that actually, because if I've got that wrong, what I'm about to say will not be right. So if you use 1, you need 2 more digits that add up to 9. So it's 2, so you can't use 1, 8. So there are 3 ways more. So it's 1, 2, 7, 1, 3, 6, 1, 4, 5. That's definitely right. If you don't use 1, you can only do 2, 3, 5. So there are only 4 ways of doing it with different digits. We know that one of those is there, one of those is there, one of those is there, but we don't know how, because it could be those 3 or these 3, and one of them is there. So that's all 4 3-cell sequences. So if the staple now is, if the staple has double 5 on it, let's say double 5 is here, this 3-cell sequence has to have a repeating digit on it because we're going to have used all of the different other permutations. And if it's got a repeated digit on it, how do you repeat a digit in those 3 squares? Well, the only way is if this repeats there, look. And it's the same, yeah, okay. So if this was double 5, these 2 cells would have to repeat. So now I think, no, hang on. No, it depends. If we can definitely conclude this can't be a 5-cell staple, then we actually know that those 2 cells are the same and those 2 cells are the same, and we might be able to do some sort of shading. But if this was a 5-cell sequence, these 3 are different. at least one of these must repeat. No, they both must repeat, but they might not be the same. Oh, this is horribly complicated, actually. Okay, not sure then. Okay, so maybe I use this one, do I? Because I'm now thinking this sequence here can't be all that's or all that you need to create a 10 sum in box 6. Because we know you can't have a 2-cell sequence. We've used all those up, apart from double 5, which you definitely can't put in those squares. You can't have a 3-cell sequence without a repeating digit, because we've used all those up. So this is at least a 4-cell sequence. But again, is it like this, where this could be a 6-cell? So that rules out this being a 6-cell sequence, because then this would have to be a 3-cell sequence. So this is at least a 4-cell sequence. Could it be a 5-cell sequence? Let's just have a think about that. If it's a 5-cell sequence, then if it's a 5-cell sequence, this would be a 4-cell sequence. It couldn't be 5 different digits. The minimum sum of 5 different digits is obviously 15. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So what we've got to do is 2, 3, 4, 5. These 3 digits. So if it was 5, these 2 digits would have to repeat. It can't be a 6-cell sequence, this one, because these 3 digits would be at least 1, 2, 3, and these 3 digits would be at least 1, 2, 3, and that would add up to 12. So this one is either a 4-cell sequence or a 5-cell sequence. Now, if it's a 5-cell sequence, because you can't have 4 different digits on the line then, otherwise those 4 would add up to 10 and the 5th digit would take you to at least 11. These 2 digits would have to repeat in this sequence. So those 2 digits and those 2 digits would be the same. And then those 2 digits would have to go by Sudoku in 2 of those 3 positions. That's if it's a 5-cell sequence. But if it's a 4-cell sequence, this digit has to repeat in one of those 2 squares. Sorry, we are sharing the house here, so you may get some background noise here. Let me try not to be distracted by this. Here is so how do we do this? If it's a 4-cell sequence, so there's always this digit is down there, because either those 2 are repeating there and fall down here, or this digit is repeating here and is down here somewhere, but we don't know whether it's on the line. So hang on, let's just take stock. So we've got 4 or a 5-cell sequence. This, well, we can't, okay. So let's think about this. If this was a 3-cell sequence, that wouldn't work. Because then whether this is a 4, well, then this would have to be a 4-cell sequence, but we'd be left with a 2-cell sequence, which would have to contain no repeated digit. It couldn't be double 5, so that won't work. So this now is at least a 4-cell sequence. So those 4 digits, let's actually try and put this in somehow. These 4 digits are something, and these 4 digits are something, and this digit, the middle digit, is joining up to red or purple to create a 5-cell sequence, because obviously we can't just write 10 into the middle of the grid. So what does that mean? So what about, can we rule out the 5-cell sequence being here? If that's a 5-cell sequence, oh, that looks very doable actually, because then we've got essentially you could repeat that digit and that digit anywhere, well, in these two squares. So you could have 3 repeated digits on that 5-cell sequence. And that's not a good thing. Or do you need to have? We certainly have to have some measure of repeated digits, don't you? You have to have you either have to have a digit that repeats 3 times on the line, or 2 digits that repeat twice or once each on the line. Because we've got to avoid having 4 digits on the line that are all different, if you see what I mean. Because once you've got 4 digits on the line that are different, they would add up to 10 at least, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and then the 5th digit would take you over the top. So what does that mean? I'm not sure. So, wow, I don't know. So what do we know? What do we know at this point? We know we've used up all of the 3-cell sequences that have different digits in them. Is it the staple one? Can we? No, and we've used up all the 2-cell sequences apart from 555, which might or might not be needed. We've got 1, 2. One of these is 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's not. Can't be that one. Is that going to push this too high? If that's 1, 2, 3, 4, that would be at least 5 on a 4-cell sequence, which could be a 5-cell sequence. How could that? Well, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4. If this was 1, 2, 3, 4, this square, well, this pink line couldn't be a 5-cell sequence because this would be at least 5. If it's a 5-cell sequence, these 2 squares and these 2 squares would add up to at least 6. 1, 2 there and 1, 2 there, and that would make 11. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, then red is a 5-cell sequence. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, that's much less powerful. Much less powerful. So hang on. I've got something different. Let's forget about 1, 2, 3s and 4s. Right. Blue, we know adds up to 10. Now we know this line, this dogleg line here, is broken up into a 2-cell sequence and a 3-cell sequence, but we don't know, I thought we didn't know which way round it goes, but I do now know that those 3 digits are not a 3-cell sequence adding to 10. Because if they were, then these 6 digits, we'd be saying, in column 9, add up to 20. But the triangular number for 6 is 21. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. So that cannot be true. In other words, this line must not break down like that. It must break down like this. Whoops, let's do it like that. So these 2 add up to 10, and then these 3, let's use a new colour if we can. Let's use maybe blue. Yeah, those 3 add up to 10. Maybe we could give them a colour as well. There we go. In fact, I'm going to get rid of the blue now. So these 3 add up to 10. And okay, so in column 9, let's have another think about this. We've got 10 here, 20. So we know that there is a secret that I share with only my favourite people. I've not shared it with anyone for a while, but I will share it with you. The secret is that any complete column, any complete row, and any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each because of the rules of Sudoku. And the digits 1 to 9 sum to 45. So this column sums to 45. Now if those 5 digits sum to 20, that means those 4 digits sum to 25. I don't know what to do with that. What about What about those two digits? Can we think about it in a slightly different way and think about these two digits? Because just as we said these digits add up to 20, the minimum 7 digits could add up to is 28. That's the triangular number for 7. And that means that these two digits, in order to achieve 28, these two digits must sum up to at least 8. And that's very easy to do. Well, it is quite easy to do. Actually, we can't be completely profligate in thinking about how we're going to do that, because it's not very likely that either of these digits is massive, although that could be a 7 now I think about it. 712 is an option for a 3-cell line, isn't it? But that digit, which is a part of at least a 4-cell sequence, what could that be? That couldn't be a 7, definitely not. Could be a 6 though. 6112. Okay, so that we aren't actually learning any. Well, no, we're really not, are we? Well, what about... Oh, yeah. Oh, this is straightforward. Okay, this is not... Right, this is not the 1, 2, 3, 4 line. Because if it is, what's the sum of those 3 digits? Well, the answer is I don't know, but it's definitely less than 10. If that line adds up to 10 with a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, those 3 cells add up to less than 10, because whatever that digit is has to be deducted from 10 to give us the sum of those 3 digits. And that means that these 6 digits, we know they add up to 10, these add up to less than 10, so those 6 digits add up to less than 20. But 6 different digits in Sudoku must add up to at least 21, because the 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 21. So this is not 1, 2, 3, 4, which means this is 1, 2. That's not the way around we wanted it, actually. That's not the way around we wanted it. These are not the droids you're looking for. Right, so these 2 digits are the same. These 2 digits are the same. When I say, sorry, these 2 are part of a 10 sum. These are part of a 10 sum. So orange. That's mildly interesting. The 2 orange digits in column 9 they go in those cells in box 3. I mean, because imagine this was a 2-8 pair, for example. Well, we can't put 2 or 8 in any of these squares because it will make a 2-cell sum that adds to 10. Because we know that the breakdown of this line is into 2-cell sums, you're going to get a repeated 10 sum with the same combination. That's weird. That is weird. So these 2 cells contain the orange digits, which we don't know. I was going to say we could do some Sudoku, but we can't because we don't know what the order is. Actually, we don't know what this combination is. So we know that, well, okay, I know that is a high digit. Okay, this digit here is quite high. And I know that by maths again. Remember, this box adds to 45. They add up to 10, they add up to 10, and 2 of these 3 cells add up to 10. So that's 30 within a sort of floating 7-cell sequence that consists of these digits with one of these not counted, but don't know which one. So the other 2 digits, because the box adds to 45, add up to 15, and 15 is always going to need a 6 in it at least, so that square is at least a 6, which means this square is less. Now what we want is this. If this was a 1, that would again put all the pressure of that. No, hang on. No, maybe that can't be a 1. I don't think this can be a 1, actually. Because if this is a 1, these 3 digits would be at least 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. And we can't have another 4-cell sequence that consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, or we're going to duplicate this line. So we couldn't make this line work. That's not 1. That's not 9. It might be difficult to do this with 2. If this was 2, they would be at least 1, 3, 4, which is 8. Yeah. We can't have 2 more digits here, so we'd have to have 1 digit, which would be a repeated 2. No, that works then. Hang on, does that actually work? No, it doesn't work, because if that's 2 and that's 1, 3, 4. Oh, I see. No, maybe this 2. This could be 2. This could be 1, 3, 5, which adds up to 9, and that could be a 1. Oh, this is bobbins worthy, isn't it? This is tricky, actually. This is very difficult. There's all these little sort of micro adjustments you can make to the line totals. It's got to be... No. Well, I was going to say there's got to be a low digit or 2 on this sequence. That's certainly true. Wow. I mean, getting a bit nervous about this, I have to say. It's not been too bad so far, although 36 minutes, I'm not even sniffing a digit. Time is flying as well, isn't it? Because I don't feel like I've had 36 minutes. But I think that's just because the logic has kept coming. There's just a lot of logic. I haven't felt like I've had to sit here for 5 or 10 minutes not knowing what to do. But maybe that's the next pleasure that Jay's going to give us. I do have a feeling I'm meant to know what this square, which one, red or pink, this square belongs to. Probably. Do we know? I don't really fancy the staple again. I don't think... I don't really know what to look at here. Okay, maybe that digit is where we look next. I'm just thinking... That digit clearly has to be 1, 2, 3 or 4, doesn't it? If that was a 5, we've instantly broken the 10 sum. Because these 3 squares add up to at least 6. The minimum we could put in there is 1, 2, 3. So this square here has to be low. So okay. So in fact, now that digit and that digit are the same. That's definitely worthy of notation, isn't it? Let's just see. I can put A in the corner. These are the same digit. Because whatever this is must form part of this quadruple, and its only opportunity is to go there. So A lives down here, which is not on a line. Now, the other thought I'm just having, though, is it true? It is true. It is true. A definitely repeats in that sequence. Because if it didn't, if A wasn't in these digits would add up to at least 10. And we know they can't add up to 10 because that's going to duplicate this. So this digit duplicates in one of those positions, and therefore one of those 2 is A. Now, which is more useful? Is it more useful for it to be here or here? Right, so A is not 4. Is what I've just learnt, because if A was 4, these 4 digits would consist of 2 4s, which are 8, and at least a 1 and a 2 as well, which would be 11, and that's too many. 11 is more than 10, a free knowledge bomb from Cracking the Cryptic. Right, so that's not 4. So 4 is definitely here. This digit is part of a 2-cell sequence, so this is a high digit. That's got to be 6, 7, 8, or 9, because it can't be 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this digit is 1, 2, 3, or 4. So now those digits can't all be low. So at least, now can we really? Didn't we conclude this couldn't be a? No, we didn't. We thought. Hang on, we concluded something about this digit. Oh no, that was in the paradigm where we have 1, 2, 3, 4 down this diagonal. or sorry, down this vertical, but which we don't have anymore. But so sorry, yeah, and what I'm seeing here is I've got 2 low digits here. So those 3 digits can't all be from 1, 2, 3, and 4. One of those is at least a 5. At least a 5. So, okay, so that's it. Right. So now, I think I probably could have done this earlier. But, although, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There may have been a way of doing it earlier, but I'm not sure I could have done it with the logic I found earlier. I can now say that digit belongs to red. Because, let me join it to pink and show you why this doesn't work. Because I know one of these digits is at least a 5. The minimum sum of these 3 digits will be a 1, a 2, and a 5, which is 8. And if I add 2 more digits to that, that's going to be a 1 and a 2 at least, adding to at least 11. That's just not going to work. So actually, red goes there, which means, I don't know what that means. I'm not sure yet. So it means this. Oh, hang on. I don't want to overlap that line. But these 5 digits add up to 10. So there's got to be a lot of repetition here. In fact, the minimum sum of those is 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3. So if that's a 1, that's 7. So this digit is a 1, 2, or a 3 at most. So look, I think we're getting somewhere in column 5 here as well. So, I was just wondering if I can now rule this out from being a 5-cell sequence. Because surely if this is a 5-cell sequence adding to 10, both of those digits would have to be mighty low. Can you get away with a 5 on the line? Oh, you can actually. We looked at this, didn't we? I put 3 1s on the line, and then I could have 2 and 5. Bother. Right, so it's not necessarily true that this can't be a 5-cell sequence. If it was a 5-cell sequence, I don't know, it would really put pressure on this digit. I think this might have to be a 1. If it was a 2. It was a 2 and the 2, 5. That wouldn't work, I don't think. So probably if this is a 5-cell sequence, this has to be a 1. Which would mean this would be at least a 2 or a 3. This would be a 4. But that, again, this doesn't have to be a 5-cell sequence, does it? I mean, it would be nice to rule it out from being a 5-cell sequence. I'm just going to give this a bit more thought again as well, because I know that one of these is at least a 5. So it's still under quite a lot. That digit's low, isn't it? That's the point. This digit's low, because these digits add up to at least 8. So that digit's at most 2. Golly. And this digit, that digit, whatever that is, let's make that B for a moment. Or is it possible? Oh, no. No, I did want to make it B. I've suddenly realised it could be A. Oh, bother. Well, okay, what I'm saying is that this digit must repeat on purple stroke pink, because if it didn't, again, this would be a 4-cell sequence adding to 10 and repeat this one. So that digit goes up there. But I don't know which cell. I don't think I know which cell. Okay. That can't be A. All right. So that digit is B. This digit is not the same as that digit, because if these 2 digits were the same, because we know A is there in column or in box 8, it would clash. So these 2 digits are different. So these 2 digits add up to at least at least 3. They must be at least a 1-2 pair, because they can't now be double 1. So those digits are at most 7. They are. I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in row 6 out of nowhere. I think. In fact, not only are they at most 7, but there must be a 1 and a 2 here. Let me just think about it. Is that definitely right? Those two digits definitely are different. I'm convinced about that. So they add up to at least 3. The line adds up to 10. Yeah, so these must add up to 7 at most. So in fact, no, we don't know, do we? It's either a 1, 2, 3 triple and this is a 4, or it's a 1, 2, 4 triple and this is a 3. Okay, so this square is 3 or 4. That square is 6 or 7. I bet you have to have a 1 on this line. Yes, you do. If this was 2, 3, 4, and we made that 1, it would duplicate this. We make it 2, it adds up to 11. So there is definitely a 1 on this line. And I suppose, right, here's another point actually. Let me just check this. Is this wrong? Can you put 6? No, you can put you can put 6 on it. I don't want to do that. If you put 6 on it with double 1, 2, it'll work, won't it? Bother. Bother. 1 and 2 are definitely over here. Oh. Okay, I said this digit. This digit is something. We don't know what it is, but it goes up there in one of those two squares. Now that means that this digit by Sudoku is in one of those squares. But we know it can't be there because we've already got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. Yeah, this digit is 1 or 2. We know it's in this sequence. We know it's not there. So this digit is in one of those two squares. But it could still be this digit. The problem is this digit can be A. So that could be A, that could be A, and one of these could be A. Can't quite work out how to do this. Do we know, does that digit? Yeah, of course, right. B is in one of those squares. Here is some. I mean, that's really obvious, but I've only just thought of it. Because if we know A and B are different, and we know A is repeating, but if B didn't repeat in this sequence, because if we know A and B is different, B is not going there. If B wasn't there in one of these three, these 4 digits would all be different. They would add up to 10 at least, and once we added that digit in, we get to at least 11. So B repeats and A repeats in this 5-cell sequence. So B is now up here. So this digit is up here, and B is up here. But could they be there? Don't know. Don't know. Oh, bar humbug. I don't know. Sorry. That is a stumper. I'm not sure I know the answer to that. All right. Okay, I'm going to change tack again. Sudoku is not helping me. Sudoku rarely helps me. But I've thought of something else. A is not 1. There you go. That, I think, is a solid deduction, assuming my colouring is correct. If A was 1, then that's 3-cell sequence would have to be 2, 3, 5. adding, because the only way we can make 10 without using a 1 is the 2, 3, 5 sequence. But then this green sequence, if A is 1, both of these are 1. So both of these have to be 2, 3, 5, and they would necessarily, therefore, repeat their combination. So A is not 1, for what that's worth. Let's just tidy that up. So now there's 1 and 4 in these squares. A is down here, it's 2 or 3. Oh, I see. Ah, that's actually interesting. Okay, I know. There are many people who have shunned me at parties for statements like that. But blue now is not 2, 3, 5, because it would break that square. Green is not 2, 3, 5, because it would break this square. And that means that both of these combinations do have 1 on them. So they are either 1, 2, 7, which would be useful in either case, really useful on the right, really useful. 1, 3, 6, which is also super useful if it's in green. 1, 4, 5, which is much smellier, I think. I think that doesn't look like it does very much. Well, they're one of those three. They must be one of those three. Where are the other? We've got another one up here, don't we? But we don't know what that one is. And we've got one over here, but we don't know how that's disposed either. Okay, that's annoying. How do we do this then? I don't think I know. Let me just mull this over for at least a moment or two while I think about this. Do I know anything about blue? I was meant to make this blue as well, wasn't I? I forgot that. Because I said that my 3-cell sequences were all going to be the same colour, but I reneged upon that. In fact, I'm going to make that blue. I'm going to make this yellow. So I don't like having the blue. I didn't like having the yellow and the orange close to each other. Now, this is 6, 4, 3, 7. Right. So that's not 1, 3, 6. If that's 1, 3, 6, nothing works here. Because it would effectively trump both options. It couldn't be 3, 7, it couldn't be 4, 6. So that's not 1, 3, 6. It's either 1, 2, 7, which would really be useful, 2, 3, 5, which would, if it was 2, 3, 5, there would be a 1 sequence over there, or 1, 4, 5. Which again would, oh, I see, would 1, 4, no, they're knocking out different options. 1, 4, 5 is making this 3, 7. 1, 2, 7 is making this 4, 6. So either this, if this is double 3, this is double 3. Yeah, okay, here's another thought. Whatever A is, it actually determines both green and yellow. You don't know the order, at least I don't think you do, of green and yellow, but you do know exactly what they are. Because if you knock 3 out of both green and yellow, you've only got 2 options left because you can't have 2, 3, 5 or 1, 3, 6. So they'd have to be 1, 2, 7 and 1, 4, 5. And if you knock 2 out, you can't have 1, 2, 7 or 2, 3, 5. Right, so it's always 1. Right, here's something weird. I think yellow or green is always 1, 4, 5. Let me just double check that. So let's go with 3 again. If we double 3 this, neither of these can be 1, 3, 6 or 2, 3, 5. So one of them is 1, 4, 5. If we double 2 this, neither of these can be 1, 2, 7 or 2, 3, 5. So one of them, because yellow and green are different, one of them must be 1, 4, 5 again. So one of these is 1, 4, 5. Neither of these is 1, 4, 5. This is not 1, 4, 5 or what was it, 1, 3, 6. So this one has a 2 on it because it's either 2, 3, 5 or 1, 2, 7. So this is not, this top one is not 2, 8. It is a whole variety of other things. Wow, so this is 2, it's either 2, 3, 5 or 2, 1, 7. So it's, oh, that's beautiful. Got it, I think. Yeah, I've got it. I've got a digit after 56 minutes. I've got a digit, I think. Because this has either got 3 in it or it's got 7 in it, is what we've just learned. Because it's either 1, 2, 7 or 2, 3, 5. So this cannot be 7, 3 or it will break this. That's so clever. That is so clever. So that's 4, 6. Which, oh, is doing something along there. Oh, this is huge. Or is it? No, well, it is huge. You know. What? Oh, hang on. There's other things. Oh, hang on. Okay. So because I'm on my laptop, somehow the computer thinks that I want. Look. Let me show you. Look. It's telling me this can't be a 4. This is Sven's software doing things that are clever to do with Sudoku that I don't deserve to know. So we need to somehow turn this off. Conflict checker. Check on finish is on again. I don't know. Conflict checker. I don't think we want that on at all. Check pencil marks. On. I don't think I want that on. Mark solved digits. I don't know what that means. Let's just scan down. Show seen cells. I don't really understand that one. Import, export, advanced, to my Valentine. I don't know. Okay, so, but anyway, unfortunately, it did flash this up as red. And so we have to take 4 out of there. I can't unsee that now. So this has become 2 or 3. I mean, I'm quite pleased, actually. I don't think that's done very much for us. It's not revealed the secrets of the universe, has it? Now, but there was another thought. And what I wanted to think about was that these add up to 6 now. And that tells us that these 2 cells add up to 4. And they can't be double 2, can they? Because if they were double 2, A and B would be the same number, which we know they're not. So they are a 1-3 pair. And that has to not be, well, we can't put 2 in either of them. So that is 3. A is 3, which means that's 3. This is going to do massive work, I think. And this is 1 by that logic. So this is 2. So this is not 1. This is a 3. I don't know what my... Oh, I see. That's A. So that now is not A. That's a shame. I can't remember which of these was B. I think it was that one. So 1 goes in one of those squares is all we're learning. So probably we have to get rid of B then. Now, do we know what this is? We probably do, and I can't understand it. That's, oh, hang on, that's not 1, that's not 2. This is 3. Right, so these two options now are 127 and 145. So that means that this is not 127 and that is 235. And that means that this, so that the option we've not used is 136, which is now up here somewhere, but we don't know where. 136, that's, well, obviously the 3 is not there. So it'd be, if that was 1, no, right. I know that there's 136 on this little shape somewhere, and I know that 1 in box 7 is in one of those squares, so we should ask where 1 goes in column 3, because it's not here and it's not here. And by Sudoku, it's in one of those squares, but it needs to be in column 3, so it's there. So that's 1, that's 2. Okay, that was an underwhelming conclusion that we got from that. 3, oh, no 3 in the corner. Look, that can't be 3. If that's 235, do I now know what that is? That's 1, oh yeah, I do. I do know what that is. Because it can't be 228 or 37, and it can't be 46, or it's going to mimic this. So that is 19, which is a deduction that feels like it's worth our attention, or not, as the case may be. Okay. Now what about 2 is definitely up here. Okay, 2 is up here. We know it's not there. So 2 is in one of these squares. 1 is in one of these squares. Bobbin's face. What about, okay, we know those 3 digits. Oh, it's easy. It's easy. Those 3 digits add up to 8, but they don't have a 4 in. So they're not 134. So they are 125, and the 2 therefore can't go here. So that's 3, that's 2, that's 1, that's 5. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, here we go. We're off to the races. In this column, we've not put in any high digits. And look at that. That digit has to be a 7, because it can't be 8 or 9. And if that's a 7, this is a 2. 3 here means this is a 7 by mathematics of all things. So these squares are 4, 6, and 8, I want to say. It's just... 3 is in one of those 2 cells. What about this column? We've not put in 4, 6, and 8. So that square is 6 or 8. Oh, in fact, look, where does 6 go in this column? It has to go here. And that can't be 4. So this column's going to get done. 4, 3, 8, 9, 8. This is a 7, 9 pair, which doesn't seem to be resolved. What about that square? That has got to be a 5. Yeah, that looks good. So now over here, we've not put 7 and 9 in, and we can do that into those 2 squares. What a puzzle, eh? This is just it's so weird. It's so different from, I want to say, the Zeta math puzzles I've done before, which were fabulous. But this feels like a completely fresh take on it, the fact that you can't repeat permutations. So do we know what combination that is, therefore? Yes, we do now, don't we? It's 145. Yes, okay. If this is 145, where does the 4 go on it? It's got to go here. So that's 4. This is a 1, 5 pair, which does nothing, apparently. 2, 6, 2 goes here. No, it does do things. 2 goes there, 6 and 8 go here. So these squares are 5 and 9, I want to say. These squares are now known. They've got to be 6, 7, 8. How is this helping us? Is it helping us? We're probably going to have to think about the staple in a moment, I think. Let me just check my Sudoku. 3 isn't one of those squares. I don't know. Okay. And can we work out, actually, what the 2-cell sequence is on this? Oh, we must know it. We actually do know it. Because if 1, 3, and 6 are being used in the 3-cell sequence, it must be a 2-8 pair. And that's really clever. That's really clever. Yeah, so this line is consisting of a 2-8 sequence and a 1-3-6 sequence. But look, the 2 by Sudoku is on the left-hand side. So it must start here, because it can't start there, can it? We wouldn't be able to put the 3-cell sequence in. So this is a 2-8 pair. And this is a 1-3-6 triple. Let's put that in, 1-3-6. And the 2-8 pair is resolved 8-6. And 3 comes out. Oh. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, proving its position. Very nice. Okay, so now... Okay, no, I was about to say something that would have been gibberish. Okay, if that's 1-6, look, we can do the 1 and a 5. So this column hasn't got 7, 8, and 9. It wears 8 in column 2. It's got to go there. So this is 7 or 9. This is 7 or 9. And 8 has to be in these 2 squares. Oops. Let's get rid of that. Is that helpful? I don't know. And these squares are from 4, 5, 7, 9. Oh, that's still good. That's still good. 4, 5, 7, 9. Because that square's a 7 or a 9. So that's a sort of quadruple on 4, 5, 7, and 9. And we haven't put 3 or 6 into the column. Does that feel right? It does feel right, actually. And 3 and 6, you can see the order. We've got to go 3 here, 6 here. So these are 4, 5, 7, and 9. We've got lots of 4, 5, 7s and 9s left. And not a great deal of opportunity to take advantage of Sudoku with those digits. This is 4, 5, 7, and 9 as well. Got 4, 5, 7, and 9 anywhere. Oh, maybe what we do now know. Yeah, I mean, we do, don't we? Let's come back and look at the staple now. So is the staple a 5-cell sequence? No, definitely not. Because these 2 digits, even if they were repeated digits, they would add up to at least 8. And I can't make those add up to less than 6. 8 and 6 is 14, which is more than 10. So so the staple is broken down into a duo, which is double 5, which means that whichever one of these is 5 has a 5 in one of so there's definitely a 5 in one of those 2 squares, which doesn't no, it does do something. It does. Yeah, okay. Because I now know there is a 5 in one of these 2 squares in box 2, and look, in box 8 the 5 is in the same 2 columns, we can ask where 5 goes in. I mean, we're not going to know the answer, but I can ask where 5 goes in column 5. I know it's not here, I know it's not here. So it's in one of those 2 squares, which does mean it's not here and it's not here. I'm not sure, actually, it goes further than that. That's a shame. Okay, I thought I'd come up with something intelligent then. Okay, but one of these is double 5. The other one has to be a 3-cell sequence, which is either that sequence or this sequence. And it's a 3-cell sequence that has a repeated digit, isn't it? Because we found all of the 3-cell sequences that... Let's highlight that one just for a moment. Oh, yeah, look, I've got my fluorescent green available. Those 4 sequences are the 3-cell sequences that don't have a repeated digit. So the 3-cell sequence on the staple does have a repeated digit, which means either that digit repeats here or this digit repeats here. Now, and they have to be part of a 3-cell sequence. So you can't put 9 here and then repeat 9 there and then add something to it unless it's -8 to get to 10. That's not going to work. So that digit, well, yeah, so either this digit is part of the 55 or it can't be 77 or it's a 4. Or could it be, no, it can't be 55 again because we can't put 55 on both bits of this. Yes, okay. So what we're now learning, it's very pretty actually, is that one of these is 44. Oh, this is going to place the 3. Look at this. One of these is 44, and that's going to need a 2 as its third digit. 442 gives us 10. 2's got to be there, but because one of them is 55, this is a 4-5 pair, and that seems to place 3 as well, which places 3. The 2 places 2 in the corner, so 2 and 5 go in. That becomes, look, the 5 here does it. That's 4, so that's 4, so this is 5, so this is 5, so this is 5, so this is 9. Oh, this is a spectacular finish. That's not 5. These are not 4 anymore. These, I can place the 4 over here, look. Has that done it? I feel like that feels like it was the sort of final big deduction, doesn't it? Let's see. Maybe not. 4 does go there by Sudoku in box 5. So we're left with a 7-9 pair. And we've found a sort of hidden 7-9 pair in row 5. So what have we not placed? 4 and 6. Yes, I see. So 4 must be here. And 6 in this row must be here. 5 can come out of this square. So we're looking for 7s, 8s and 9s. We can get rid of the 9 from there. We don't know about this one. This square is 6, 7 or 8. Can we do any more magic over here? That's not 7. Oh, that's a naked single. That is a 9. So that's a 7, and that's a 5. And that's a 2, and that's an 8. And that's going to give us 8 and 6, and 6 and 1, and 1 and 9. Aha. And then that becomes a 9, look. This square's got to be, that's a naked single 8. So, oh look, this was done as well apparently. Yeah, that's a 9, that's a 9, that's a 7, that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 9. This is an 8, this is a 7, this is probably a 6. That's a 7, that's an 8. So that should be a something. 6 at the top of the column. We haven't put 1 in this box, we've not put 4. Oh, no, we have put 4. 7. 7 looks right. Okay, 7, 9, done. What a beautiful puzzle that is. Let's just highlight those in purple. These in red. There's every sequence has not got its own colour yet. Let's try and finish that off. We can give those light grey. That's another sequence. We'll make that one yellow. And that's the final sequence. We'll make that blue. Oh no, and that one needs one as well. And we'll make that orange. And this is not a sequence, so that doesn't deserve coloration. That's a fantastic puzzle, Jay. Again, it's taken me a while, actually, an hour and a quarter to solve it. But wasn't it fantastic? Original logic, a go-go. And yeah, I do have a feeling there was some way I could have resolved a bit more smoothly. But I really liked the idea that I could, I know it was a really obvious point, but they couldn't be ones. Seeing that really made me pleased for some reason. And then actually working out that whatever these were, you always had to use a 1, 4, 5 in one of those colours. That was important because it narrowed down. Is that what got me a 2 up here, I think? That got me a 2 up there. I can't quite remember what I then managed to deduce from that. But anyway, whatever it was, I know it was important. Anyway, fantastic X-Clusivity by the great Jay Dyer. Jay, take yet another bow. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.